Okay, meeting's called to order at 10:07. Bear with me. Roger Phillips is excused. First Selectmen's briefing. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Okay, America 250, Connecticut, Joan Gobin and Valerie Pepin have volunteered to serve as co-chair and partner with Barbara Metzak. One of the questions I have is, do we have any funds available from the Ashford 275th anniversary fund for them to work with?
I don't know about the 275th.
No,
I know we have some from the 300th.
Oh, 300th? Okay.
And those were going to be dedicated towards the book that we were hoping to put out, which we have not. I know there's been a lot of work done on it, but that has not come to fruition yet.
Okay, who's doing the book?
Well, I was co-chair with my wife on the 300th.
Yep.
Sherry Much was working on it, did a lot of the history facts, did interviews and everything else. And I think Val Ference also was doing something on that. I'd have to go back and look, it's been a while.
What's Val Ference's husband's name?
Mike Pepin.
Mike Pepin.
Val Ference's name?
Well, Val Ference is Val Pepin.
Okay,
she'll
thank
be
you.
Ference forever.
Yeah, she gave me the name Pepin. Okay, so in terms of any funds that are available for their use?
There's about $14,000 in the fund.
Yep.
And I took money out for flags. And that brought it down to, I think, about 14,000.
Okay.
So is it possible we can use any money from that, or how do we want to address that?
Well, I would think I could always call a committee meeting, but I would think we could.
That we could.
For the 250, I wouldn't want to use the lion's share of it or anything, but
okay.
I think if we need a stipend or whatever,
all right,
we should probably. I think one of the first things to figure out what we're going to spend it on.
Right, that's exactly it. I would expect to have that kind of a plan. All right, so I will talk to the ladies. Cattle Rock access. Okay, so we got some movement, so to speak. Rick Zulik recommends a cash bond of $7,500 in the contract, and since there are no wetlands being directly impacted by the proposed activity on Cattle Rock, a formal application to the IWWC specifically for this land is not required. There's no wetlands.
Yeah, I think we had noted that before, but I thought at the time we were talking to them that it would be a good idea just to keep them in line.
Yes, and here's the plan. Mr. Zulik has been designated as the formal inspector of the project to make certain that the town land access road to the logging area would only be used under dry or frozen land conditions unless special circumstances were approved. The $7,500 bond will not be released until the logging has been completed and the town land is inspected and accepted as complete. Notification should be provided as to when access is planned and for how long. Soil erosion and sediment control should be in place using silt fences or other items as necessary. The use of best management practices is required. Mr. Zulik volunteered to act as authority to order the work stopped if necessary.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, good. So we're pursuing that now. Solar proposal. We were talking about having a meeting.
Yeah.
Getting together interested parties or decision makers, really. And this is solar on the school, just to look at it and see what what we'll cover. I can tell you that Penobi finished their assessment, and Area 1, affectionately called Area 51, it can hold solar, except for one small portion. So after all this,
meets the load bearing.
Yeah. Now think about it. If we hadn't insisted on having that we wouldn't be putting solar on area one
were
because
told
we
to
didn't
write that
know.
off.
Yeah,
How about area 5?
area 5. I'd have to look. I
'Cause
can't
there were
remember
two
in area
areas. There
5.
was area 1, which I think we were all a bit surprised about, and then I think we were talking about area 5.
No, there's areas 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 4 was
Other than
a
4?
little, 4 was one you couldn't use.
4
It
is
was too
okay.
low,
Okay.
I believe.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
So they've got areas 1, 2, and 3 to work with, which is good
Did
news.
they do testing? They did testing on 4 though, for load bearing?
Yeah, well, they
I
checked
think
out
they
its
tested
structure.
the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they
And that-
determined that 4 is still unusable?
That's my understanding. I'll go back and double check.
Okay.
It's gone back and forth a little bit.
Are we still planning a meeting about,
Solar? Yeah, I was thinking we would do that meeting. It won't be this week and it won't be next week because it's a holiday week and also I'll be out of town from Wednesday afternoon
So
through
the
Friday, all the way
following
through
week?
Friday and coming back on
well,
Monday.
that's good, because then Roger will be back, we'll all be here.
Yeah, do you know when Roger's supposed to be back?
26th, I think I heard.
I think the 26th.
26th.
I
Good,
can
because
text him and ask him.
he's doing something in the Memorial Day thing. Okay. All right, so we'll make that meeting for the week after next. And try and get all the principals there to talk it through.
All right, don't forget the week after next.
Bond.
Never mind, June 11th is gonna be the special town meeting.
Special town meeting. So
On
Looking at-
what?
Pardon?
On what?
Roof at the fire department.
fire
Oh,
department
fire
and the
department.
solar on the fire department.
Different roof.
Different roof, yes. Okay, senior center, still need to finish cleaning out extraneous stuff. I'll be inspecting it next week. If not this Friday. And writing up anything that I find that's just needs to be out of there. Both the health department assessment and the fire marshal's assessment said there was just too much clutter, as did our cleaning guy, who said he can't get into certain places because of the clutter.
As did we for a long time.
Yes. So we're working on addressing that. We've already gotten rid of a lot of it. And test reorganized a lot of it. Okay, and the bathrooms, we'd already mentioned, or I'd already mentioned, we're gonna replace the 3 toilets and the urinal. They run about $275 to $300 a piece.
That's
Repainting?
less than I thought they would be.
So right about what you thought, yeah.
No, I said it's less than what I thought it would be.
Well, hopefully it won't change. Repainting is complete down in the bathroom, as far as I know, both bathrooms. Public Works is going to replace the cove base in the bathrooms. And they're going to retile a section of the men's room where we had that long-standing leak at the urinal. The stove, no one can use the stove until we have a certified employee food protection manager or a substitute named by the Board of Selectmen.
Say that again.
No one can use the stove, cook, if you will, in that kitchen until we have a certified employee food protection manager on site or a substitute named by the Board of Selectmen on site during cooking activities.
Now, is it not in the job description for
I've looked at it, and in the jobs description, it has, give me a second. Just gotta pull up something else.
Because I know it also said that it had to be able to drive the bus, and we waived that from what I was told.
Yeah, where are we here? Issues around that were in the job description is there's determine the need for physical building repairs and maintenance. And so we've had a long-standing sink leak in the center kitchen that rusted everything under the sink, and a leak from the urinal in the men's bathroom that was present for over 4 months. So those are issues in terms of building repairs and maintenance. And then in terms of the food protection manager certification, in the job description, it says service site manager for the elderly nutrition program and supervise the senior center kitchen as required by the Department of Health.
But it does not say the certification specifically.
Oh, as required by the Department of Health. The Department of Health requires the certifications, and more than one. It has for the kitchen, which I think is already done, and it has for whoever our food protection manager is. Okay. So I've been looking at the fact that our senior center director is not there after 3, and there's some food preparation that needs to be done for other events that in that kitchen. And so from my perspective, we need to find a substitute that can help during those hours or monitor during those hours. It'd be ideal if it's someone from the groups that are using the kitchen, but otherwise I think we need to find someone. So I'm working on that. Let me know if you disagree. Okay.
Hi, Laura.
Let me go back to the other thing. And let me see what else we have. I don't know why this is not coming up for me. Sorry, just trying to open up my thing here. Okay, sorry for the delay. Parks and Rec, they're starting work. Let's see, today's Wednesday. They're doing the company that we hired is Shawnee Painting. And that was for the 3,900. They're going to coat it, paint. He's going to paint it the same color, the pavilion, et cetera, down in Memorial Park. The pavilion, the concession stand, and the barricade around the portalet. They're power washing it today, and they're going to use same color, 2 coats of solid stain, a 2-year warranty, and also, last time we spoke, I mentioned that our Park and Recs director had said she was looking to charge for use of the pavilion, just as we charge for use of our buildings. It's my understanding we cannot charge for the use of the pavilion for private parties due to the terms of the grant that built the park.
The DEP grant that we got for the park.
Now, the monies that we used for Pompey, how long ago was that? With Ashford Memorial?
What, Ashford Memorial?
The point I was going to make, we built Pompey Hollow Park with grant funds,
right?
Plus the senior center and everything with federal funds. And there was a time limitation that those restrictions only applied for the first 20 years.
Good.
And then afterward, it would defer to the regular town policy.
That was a small city's restriction on the federal money that we used for over there.
Right.
Ashford Memorial Park was a DEP grant. And that was Gay Lady and Betty Stearns. You were
Rich DeLay was the chairman of the rec committee at
right.
And him and I worked on that pretty closely. What we did was, for 3 years in a row, we set aside money to meet a grant, a match grant, and then we put it in for DEP, and that's how we got that. But
good.
I guess my point is,
there was no time. There's no time limit.
It goes on
mentioned
perpetuity
in the grant award.
Okay.
The one thing
Usually
I do
there's a timeline.
The one thing I do have a problem with is that robotics team coming down and shooting off rockets down there.
Well, we talked about that, and that's a whole other, that's a safety issue. There should be a fire marshal permit issued. There's a whole list, and they're coming from Yukon, you said.
Yes.
That's a whole other issue.
Okay.
I would report that to the state police. First,
Yep.
I would suggest you try to talk or have somebody talk to them about not doing that. But if they did it, I would report it to the state police because
Got it.
that's a serious safety issue.
And that's what we, and I'm going to say fire marshal. Okay, thank you. That's good. Moving down here. Okay, the fire marshal. I can't remember if I put you on copy, but I've asked for proper reports from the fire
You
marshal.
sent me an email and I haven't had a chance to get into it yet with some reports on
It
it.
would, what was sent was inadequate.
Okay.
It was, in places, it was basically unintelligible because you couldn't figure out what the person was trying to say. And there are standard reports.
One paragraph.
Yeah, it was one long sentence, and actually two different reports. One was for the town buildings that were inspected April 11th, I think. And the other report was for all other buildings that were inspected that are businesses, etc.
Yeah.
So what I've requested, first of all, he needs to straighten out the report he gave us because we can't operate and make changes on that. I want to know specifically what we were cited on, which is so we have something to work with. And then the other thing was that I had told him that every month we expect a report. The report should be for any town buildings that are inspected, town-owned buildings, it should be a detailed report. Any other buildings, just a summary report that says he inspected this company and this on this date. So I don't care about the results. I only care about making sure we understand what our fire marshal is doing.
You know what? He should also be required to submit, when he does the apartments,
Yes.
to submit copies of those inspection reports to the building department to be filed with
You got it.
the rest of the stuff, you know, pertaining to.
Now, isn't there a standard form? I thought Paul told us
That's what I got.
that there's a form
system.
that he's supposed to, yeah.
There's a system. It's not getting
And
input
it's
into
on
the
computer.
system. And the deputy fire marshal does put his in there. And so I saw what the reports can be. I got a copy, and you can get a summary report or a detailed report.
Right.
You can kind of click on the summary and it'll take you to the detail. Hi, Casey. We're in the middle of a meeting. You're welcome to join.
Can I just interrupt? I need the flags.
Oh, the flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Bill.
So
Good
I've
morning.
Hello.
hi, we're in a selectmen's meeting. It's being recorded.
I'm sorry.
Just so you know.
Sorry.
Okay.
I think we ought to insist that if there's a form, there's a reason for that form.
I believe me, I'm pushing. And I think that I'm getting some help from the other side.
Good.
Okay. Westford Hill Road. We have a complaint. I'll read you part of it. Our community has taken steps to address this issue. These are the neighbors to the campground. Briarley, okay. The neighbors, because people are not making the right turn coming out of there, they're making left turns and going basically the wrong way. They're supposed to come in one road and go out the other way. Well, what's happened is apparently the campers, the patrons are speeding like hell down the road. That's one. And there are people walking babies. There are people walking their dogs. And they actually, how was it put? They, at one point, I think the woman who complained was walking, I think the child, and the camper, whatever, truck with a camper on it came around, was pretty close to them. And he literally, well, one, he was speeding, but the other thing is he flipped them off.
The guy in the camper flipped?
Yeah. So what we have is, it sounds like we have campers who think that they don't have to abide by the rules here. And Mr. Specialski should be making sure that his patrons understand what those rules are. So what she indicated, the person who, and it was a number of people that in that area that have gotten together. And they said they put up a sign, they erected a sign under the current right turn only sign, asking campers to respect our neighborhood and turn right upon exit. Unfortunately, as she put it, Brian Spesialski, the campground owner, responded by defacing our sign, showing a blatant disregard for our concerns and agreed upon traffic regulations. Hang on. They're also, these people are throwing things out of their campers onto the road. So let me just get up here a little higher. And the statement that was made was that they were aware that Mr. Spesialski has influence and connections with the right people, but that does not concern them. All we're asking is for campers to travel the correct way and not litter. It's not a difficult request and should not be overshadowed by Mr. Spesialski's reach. I put you on copy for my response, which says basically that Mr. Spesialski is not going to be treated any differently than any business owner in this town.
And to the best of my knowledge, it never has been.
No, it never has been. I think that that's an impression they may have due to the circle that Mr. Spesialski runs in. Anyway, our inland wetlands agent, Bruce
Just
Fitzpatrick.
to go back to that.
Yeah.
What do you think if we ask those folks that are complaining and Mr. Spesialski to come in and say, well, we'll be a moderator in a meeting. Let's talk this thing out.
I actually offered to meet with that group. I did not indicate Mr. Spesialski would be there. I kind of wanted to hear from them first.
Yeah.
To understand what the complaints really are and any incidents that they can convey.
Yeah.
And then either I don't know that a conversation with Mr. Spesialski with his neighbors is going to make a difference. However, there are some actions we could probably take to ensure that people who are turning the wrong way and are speeding down that road and are throwing things, refuse out of their campers, that we have the police presence there and start ticketing them.
I mean, that's actually against the law.
I know all of those things are against the law. So I thought maybe enlisting the help of Troop C for a period of time to deal with this. What I really want to find out is when campers come and when they leave, because it seems to be in general that's.
Well, I imagine you're talking about Mondays and Thursdays or Fridays.
Right.
We have in the past asked them to step up monitoring of Westford Road. I don't know how recently, but I remember in the past we've asked them to do that.
Right.
Whether or not it helped or not.
Another thing I thought of is moving one of our portable signs.
Yeah.
Moving it to that road for a while. That's a speed sign.
I'm not a big fan of them, but another thing I noticed some other towns have done when they're having areas is, and Casey will have a nightmare to even hear this, is speed bumps.
And that road really, in a sense, lends itself to that. People just drive too fast down the road to begin with. We had trucks that were going down the road that were going too fast.
You know, Dog Lane?
Yes.
Mansfield?
Yes.
Have you been down there lately? I just happened to go down there again.
No, what'd you say?
They're speed bumps because they were having continuous. It's a very narrow road towards the end of it, and they were having problems with speeding.
Yeah.
We had a couple of. I just learned about this last week.
Yeah.
In the past, serious car injuries to residents of town because of speeding on that road.
Yeah.
And they put these speed bumps. I couldn't believe. But you can't go fast over these speed bumps.
Could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Would you shut the doors?
Sure.
Thanks.
Easy. What's up? Sorry.
Hi, we're recording. We're in a meeting. You have something for me?
Yeah.
It's not your resignation, is it?
No, you'll like this.
Oh. Bill, it could be worse.
What do you got?
My husband handles the finances.
Oh,
I'm too busy. Okay, our inland wetlands agent, Bruce Fitzpatrick, he gave his notice.
I was gonna say, I thought he was.
It was April 1st was to be his last day at work.
Yeah,
I've seen him showing up for inland wetlands meetings, not understanding, why he's there, unless it might be a transition thing or whatever. Anyway, it's my understanding that Lenny may have talked to him offline or something and had him continue on. We weren't aware. So what did happen is Bruce was here and he was trying to verbally get a contract. And I said,
from you.
that's what it came across as, okay? Because he came in, he's standing there and said that he was he was looking to basically stay on part-time or whatever. Anyway, what I told him is your contract expired April 1st because you gave your notice. And I said, you can't get a contract through me. You would have to, you'd have to have inland wetlands make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to rehire you. And he didn't, what he said was, he said, starting June, this is a statement that was made, starting June 1st, I'm going to charge $1,000 a month. And I went, no, that's not how this is going to work. And he, at that point, resigned. Again, he walked out and then came back and gave his key.
Huh.
So I've since talked with Lenny. That's when I found out that he was kind of carrying him along. The bottom line is I told Lenny, I said, look, if you want to rehire the guy, then make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen. But, from my perspective, the guy was supposed to be out of here April 1st.
Now, hadn't we heard he took a full-time position somewhere
Oh,
else?
yeah, and he came in a uniform from the town.
Mm-hmm.
So
Has
I don't
that not
know.
worked
I don't know.
out, or
Sorry?
has that not worked out, maybe? This new position?
I really have no idea. And the demeanor, his demeanor went totally in a different place, but it actually reminded me of something else that would happen. So I'm not going to get into it because that's an employee thing. But I'm letting you know we don't.
We'll certainly consider anything. We have not hired a new one or advertised yet.
No, we haven't advertised or whatever. Actually, we are advertising because what we got from Lenny, we asked for, was a full job description and whatever. And originally they were asking to put this little blurb in the Ashford Citizen. And we looked at that and went, that doesn't make any sense because you're looking for someone who's qualified for this job. You're not just going to look within Ashford for somebody who happens to look at the Ashford Citizen. We're going to put it out on the Yukon site and some other sites. So now we've gotten the full job description to work with, and we're putting it out in the different sites. So, but it was kind of bizarre from my perspective. I'm sure his perspective is not, but it's not. Okay, that in general is what I have. The only other thing is the Memorial Day commemoration. You will be here, right? That is next Monday.
Yeah. There was a chance I was going to be up in New Hampshire, but I think that's fallen through now.
You're sure?
I'm 99% sure.
Okay, well, worst case scenario, we'll find a substitute if we need to. So I'd just like to ask you to be the person to read the names of the veterans who passed away.
Yep.
That'd be great. And what we do have is we've got Bishop Bruce Fountain from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is going to do the invocation.
Yeah.
Patrick McHugh is going to do the benediction. We have the Scouts, the Babcock Band, the Choraliers. They've all, jumped in there. Danny Quirk is going to be our speaker again. I think he's pretty marvelous. Robert Chernak is going to read the general order. And let's see what else we have. And we have people to play taps. So I think
John Bartlett's still going to do that?
I'm sorry?
John Bartlett?
He's one of them. I don't know. I don't think Alex Hall is the other one. I think somebody else. I haven't heard from Vinny who the other person is, but he said he had someone. And actually, I need to get that name so we can put it on the program. So, and then we have a poem that's going to be read by Roger. And it's good to hear Roger's going to be back. I thought he was. Okay. Anything else?
I just had a quick question for you.
Sure.
On your last updates, you had mentioned that the grader was down and then we were looking for alternatives. What happened with that?
They got it started again last Friday, and I don't know what the status is at this point,
Okay.
but they got it going on Friday.
I did a little homework, although I don't have anything to report to the board on. As you know, the one that broke down, we bought in the early 90s through Army surplus.
Right.
And I've been trying to do some research to go in back through that and see what facility.
If there's anything else like it, yeah.
And I did find a couple of graders, several of them are way out of our budget, much larger than we need. But I'll report back because I think that may be an avenue for us to consider.
You may want to let Casey know. So
yeah, I will.
I don't know if there is still a federal surplus.
There is.
Is there?
There is. But I've got to get more information for us. No,
I'd love
because I have paperwork
from the old one.
from the old one.
Good. Well, if you could make a copy of that, that'd be helpful.
Okay.
But there are several means to go through federal surplus now that I found on the webpage.
I'd love to find out where the farmer that lives near us, he's actually in Willington on Seacar Road. He's got, actually, they own two places on Seacar Road.
I heard he's got several surplus equipment.
He's got all kinds of surplus equipment. My husband and I are trying to figure out where he's getting them from. He knows them, so he'll probably ask. I was just going to stop in and find out.
Yeah, do.
Yeah.
I mean, if I remember right, on that grader that we got, all we had to pay was shipping costs. Am I remembering that wrong?
I don't remember. I just remember when we did it.
Yeah, I think it came up from North Carolina or South Carolina or something.
I don't remember.
Because I still have the pictures. It was in the camouflage. And...
Yeah.
You were wearing camouflage?
No, the grader was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, back to our agenda. Acceptance of the minutes of a special meeting of May 6th.
They're not finished.
Okay. Hear from the boards, commissions, and committees. Hearing none. Old business, Ashford School roof replacement project status. You're probably fairly up to date on this because we're doing interviews with the general contractors tomorrow.
Yep.
And then unfortunately, we need to have a special meeting on Friday with only one thing on it. And that would be if we've decided on the general contractor, if the recommendation comes through for the general contractor, then we need to basically approve that or ratify it.
What time Friday? 10?
What works for you?
9, 10?
Okay. Let's go for 9.
Let's go for 9:30.
9:30? Okay, we'll split the difference. 9:30 Friday. We'll have a special meeting related to this. As far as the status, again, I mentioned that Panobi's write-up was done on the structural analysis for the school roofs. And
so just,
it's 76
I know we
pages.
talked about it briefly. So section 1 is okay and it can be included in our considerations or so.
Correct.
Section
except for a section,
4,
except for a small section of it, a corner of it.
If you want, I can email you Anonymous huge reports.
Yeah, or just or put a copy in my box. I like to get copies of stuff, but for some reason, for months now,
Understood.
the emails you send me, I can't copy it. I can't make copies. I try to print them on my printer and they won't come out. Everything else is working.
I wonder if that's a security thing.
I mean, I get them.
Yeah.
But I can't
print them.
copy anything from them.
Okay. We'll make sure that gets printed
Do
for
you
you.
have trouble printing anything else?
Not really.
Does it give you an error message?
No,
Just doesn't do it.
just undo it.
I wonder if it's trying to pick up the printer that the original document was using. I know that sounds strange.
No idea. It
Okay,
seemed to me when it first started happening, and this was when you first took office again, I did let Savage know, and that they said they would take care of it, but it's never been taken care of.
Well, I didn't do it to you, I promise.
I know you did.
And I will talk to them about it. Okay. Discuss Ashford School roof bonding timetable. We are meeting with our bonding people next Tuesday, correct, Chris? With Glenn and Mark.
We're trying to, yes.
We're trying to set it up for Tuesday morning. And we have some questions we want to ask is, one is about bonding for two projects. We got the $5 million approved for the school roof. We've looked at some of the estimates that the GCs have brought in and looked at some other numbers and said, there's a chance that we're going to have money left over from the 5 million that's just targeted at the school roof. What happens with the leftover monies? Can we use them for the solar project? Bonding is one thing, keeping track of what's applied for building the school roof versus the solar is another thing, and that's not too hard to do.
Well, I know Cindy was a bit confused because she always had the impression that bonding was for both, and it wasn't.
Oh, really? I didn't know she had that impression.
It's not.
It's not for both.
I know it isn't, and I had told her that, but I think she had that impression. But I think the reason she got that, we knew that the 5 million was going to be more, probably
More than
what the actual cost was going to be.
right.
But the thought was we'd rather have some left over than come up 500,000 short and have to go through this whole thing again.
Exactly, and slow everything down.
So that's a question for the bond council and everything, whether or not we can modify that, or we need a new town meeting.
Or and actually,
or a separate bond.
How much does the bank care about the specifics of what we are bonding for?
I don't think they care as long as we make our payments.
So that's one of the questions we're going to ask our bonding councils.
I think we ought to check with them.
Yep, we are.
Just because it may become an auditing problem when we get audited.
Exactly.
That money has not been spent as it was designated.
Okay. And if that's not, we're not able to do it that way, then it becomes, for the solar, it's do you buy it or do you lease it? And if you buy it, it's $820,000 to buy, which you'd have to bond for.
I've got mixed emotions on that.
That's why we'll have the solar meeting a week after next. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to make sure we understand the rules that we have to abide by. So we're meeting again with bond council next Tuesday. Hopefully. We're trying to get it set up. Okay, discuss and or act on Ashford School roof solar options. We're going to just wait on that until we have that meeting. Discuss and act on ACE equipment logging request accessing Kettle Rock property. I'm about to send off an update to the contract that Duncan put together for us that reflects the 7,500, and just doing another check through the contract to make sure all of if there's any specifics that have been noted by inland wetlands or the agent, that they're reflected in the contract.
Well,
and then I'm writing a letter.
My thought was, because Duncan had drawn up that agreement, of course, that is passé and it's expired and everything else.
Right.
But we've already spent some town money on this as an accommodation.
Yes.
I think our new agreement ought to say any other expenditures by the town will be borne by the
owner.
the grantor, the owner, the grantor,
It's gonna be the logger.
the law, whatever.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Well, I mean, I didn't look up specifically, but you know, those agreements probably ended up costing us between $500 and $1,000.
Right. Right.
And this, we thought it was gonna be not an easy thing, but a lot simpler than what it's mushroomed into.
Exactly.
Where do we draw a line that we're spending taxpayers' dollars to accommodate a neighbor?
Very good. All right, we'll make sure that that's put in it as well. The finalized town building use fee schedule and Ashford Food Bank donation policy. That became even more interesting. So here I went down to finance and I asked, okay, and I had Shantae Fields here with me, and she works with the farmers market. So I was asking her, you know, a reasonable fee per table for the farmers market. And then I said, well, how do you charge your fees now? And I didn't realize until we went down the finance department that they've been paying for use of the building. They've been basically the fees that are charged. They charge $75 for the season for someone to have a table. This is for the indoor farmers market.
Oh, okay.
And they pay it to the town. And they charge $15 for a particular event. You know, if someone doesn't want the whole season, then it just, you know, they charge $15 and it's a check for
season.
And a check for 15 for specific. And it comes directly to us. I guess I'm disappointed that I wasn't told that when I was trying to work through fees for this.
This is the first.
It's just for the farmers market that is coming in.
Is that
winter
just
market
for the time they're using Knowlton Hall?
I think so. I will double check. I thought it was just for Knowlton.
They charge fees when they're across the street in the parking lot.
So what I had was for the beginning of this year coming through, what I saw. So I need to go back and look and see if there's anything that they were paying last year, last fiscal year.
The impression that I had was that those vendors, for the outside, didn't pay anything.
They pay for a table, I believe.
They do?
See, everybody's paying for a table.
To the farmer's market.
To us.
I think.
Even for over there?
That's what I'm gonna double check.
Because over there, I always had the impression there were no fees.
I always had that impression too, because it's a parking lot, for one, not a building. So, but I'll double check on that because I have to look at a previous year. But I was startled to find that out. You know, here we're already collecting money for it. And what did I ask? Where does the money go? Into the general fund. So in order for us to redirect that money, if we wanted to, first of all, it shows up as miscellaneous revenue on our town budget in the package, you know, what we show for revenue. And what happened was Sherry came in, you know, started here full time. She started looking through that stuff and going, she hates miscellaneous. And I do too. You should have specifics.
Yeah.
And so she started trying to carve out what was in there and put it going to the right place. So all the money was going into the fund. And in order to change it, we could not change it this year. In all likelihood, because the budget was approved.
Change it for July 1st.
Yeah, we'd have to, not for July 1st of next year, because we've already passed a budget saying what was going to be revenue, whatever. So I'll talk with her again. She's by the book. And I don't know if it's being too stringent to consider having the money go over to where we have the other monies go for use of our buildings, which is over to Melissa McDonough. It serves a different purpose.
She also set up fund, must be just a revenue fund, I don't know, for pistol permits for the $70 we get, because those used to go into miscellaneous finance.
Huh.
But that's money we're never going to spend.
Why do you say that's money we're never going to spend? It'd be in the undesignated fund, right?
If it's going into the general fund, we'll generally spend it.
She made a special account for pistol permits, because we never tracked what we brought in for pistol permits.
Well, that's
Oh.
another thing.
I will talk with her
So
about that.
that money is never gonna come out because we have no cost. What do you do with something that you're never gonna use?
Well, we are gonna use it. Now it's a matter of finding out how to.
We
Right,
can't, there's
right.
nothing to use it.
Right.
You have to come up with a definition of the use, or whether or not at the end of the year it's closed out and goes into the general fund.
That would be part of the general accounting
Right.
that happens at the end of the year, essentially either before or during the audit. Adjustments.
Yeah.
So, but I will check on that. That's gun license fund.
But that's the first I've heard of that, because this was the first year with the inside farmers market that the revenues were going to the town. I don't remember that even ever being discussed.
No, I don't either. So that was a bit of a surprise. And as far as the Ashford Arts Council and their events, they agreed to $10 a table, which works fine. And they usually have like at least like 12 to 14 tables. The fire station roof update, there's nothing to say about that other than we have that special town meeting on June 11th to get that approved, take the money.
Have we got 3 bids or 2 bids on that? I know Paul was working.
I thought we
on
got 2.
Okay, and we have those in hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember which companies they were?
McDonald.
McClintock is the one that we're going with.
Which one?
McClintock
Okay,
is in Coventry.
okay.
And they're a known quantity, correct?
Sorry?
And they're a known quantity for us.
Not that it applies to this, but I think I got my memory refreshed. With DAS, if we're dealing with any contractors and they say that they've worked such and such project for the state, at the end of every one of those projects, there's an evaluation sheet that's done by DAS, a formal one.
Does it sit out on the DNS site?
And it's available at request, it's public information.
Oh,
And they give you all the information. Was the project finished on time? Was it on budget? Were there problems with the contractor, whatever?
yeah.
So that was just for future reference. Those would be available for us. I don't think they're published on site because that would be a administrative nightmare to manage all the projects they have. But upon request, you can get those. So you need the specific project, the contractor, and make a request to DAS to apply.
Okay.
What?
Say that again?
I don't know that if you go on DAS, you can say contractor ABC did Ashford School.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can go in and search by Ashford School. I don't know if you need bid number.
Well, they all have the project numbers, but I think the person that told me this said you would send an email or put something in writing to the commissioner DAS requesting project information and summary, and they will give it to you.
Thank you, Bill. We'll give that a shot. Okay. New business. Board and commission appointments. We don't have anybody to fill these seats at this point in time. Have you heard of anybody, Bill?
I don't have anybody right now, no.
So Economic Development Commission, Inland Wetlands and Watercourses, Agriculture Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. Do we have any tax refunds?
No.
Discuss and act on waiver of permit fees related to small cities grants supporting the rehabilitation of Pompey Hollow senior housing. So they have an initiative that they're starting, if you will, to do rehabilitation of the housing. And that includes fixing the kitchens, replacing appliances, bathrooms, updating those. They're going to make them walk-in showers, except for one that'll have a tub upstairs somewhere. Don't know who that is. They had a special meeting this past Monday down here, and what the people that came were basically the people who live in senior housing, and so they presented the information there.
Good.
Also, they're fixing,
when
they're
we were
replacing.
when we were building that,
Yeah,
the housing authority, we were trying to insist on walk-in showers in lieu of the tubs from the beginning. And the feds pushed back on that, and they ended up going, we do have down in the first floor area, there's a communal shower if somebody wanted to use it, but they wouldn't let us do that before.
no kidding.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's so difficult for
Absolutely.
the elderly who are, have issues to get into a tub.
I wanted to redo our bathroom. My wife wants to keep our tub. I said, honey, when's the last time you used the tub where I have?
Yeah.
But anyway, not to bring up family squabbles.
Okay, so, and they're also replacing doors.
I don't have a problem. I mean, we've waived fees before, but the only thing, my suggestion would be, why don't we inquire with our building department? How much time do they anticipate, how much time they would have to put in that to do that?
How much time to waive the fees?
How much time to perform the inspections and everything?
Okay. And that would be,
Because there, in most grants,
yeah,
there are monies allotted for permitting. That would just be to cover the town's cost. If it took our building department an extra 20 hours a week, that's an exaggeration.
right.
That could be a significant cost to the town.
Yeah.
That they can't do something else. I'd just feel more comfortable to get a recommendation from the building department that they have no problem with that.
So the building department, it would be the building inspector?
Yes.
Okay. If the building inspector says, well, we can't say it's not more than usual.
No,
Usual
because it is more
activity,
than
because
usual.
it will be, but it won't be until, I don't know when the project starts.
I don't remember, Chris, when we built that, it's too many years ago. Did the town waive our building? We did waive the permitting fees?
Yeah.
Because that was major, that was from scratch. Why don't we do this? I'll make a motion, Catherine. To
Yep.
approve waiving the building permit fees.
Yeah.
Pending advice from the building department.
They still
Approval.
have to pay the state education fee. Can't waive that.
Right, it's only,
The state.
Any permit that's
this is
issued.
waiver of Ashford permit fees.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I'll second that motion. Thank you. That's reasonable. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next one, discuss and act on adoption of a resolution relating to 2024 Small Cities Grant application.
So move.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discuss and act on approval of Ashford's Fair Housing Resolution.
Do we have a copy? Did we get a copy?
It's in your packet that I gave you this morning.
Oh, it's in that. Are there changes from prior years? So move.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Chris, thanks for making sure that these were on here. Agenda items for upcoming Board of Selectmen meetings. So we have the solar meeting. we have the special meeting.
Solar stuff and the solar, I thought we decided we were not gonna do,
It's gonna be a couple of weeks at least.
to discuss whether we're doing solar or not. I
Exactly.
think we decided not to put that on a regular agenda and do it only as an in-person meeting with the building committee and the board of
A
selectmen.
special meeting.
Right.
Okay, that'll be a special meeting
Because we didn't want outside interference.
with building committee. Okay, and then we have a special meeting coming this Friday at 9.
9:30.
9:30, that's right, 9:30 Friday. And I'm trying to think if there's any others. One of the things is going to be bear with me, the proposal from the Ag Commission for changes to our regulations.
Well, if they get it to you and it's a regular meeting, we can always add it anyway.
Did Lynn?
Yeah, what I want to do is make sure that when we do, that I put that out there. Lynn is pulling together what we need, okay? And I actually spoke to Luther last night, I saw him. And what I conveyed is that Lynn had been doing analysis on the requests to determine, you know, who benefits, how much, and what the impact is on the town financially with what they're asking for. So that's what she's put together. I think she's almost done with it. So it's, and what I told Luther is I said, when the Board of Selectmen is going to review this, I'll make sure that the Ag Commission knows so they can attend.
Yeah, and I'd like to have it before our meeting to at least read it.
Say that again, you want it before our regular meeting?
Yeah.
As a special,
If we're gonna have, if she finishes it.
Yeah.
I'd like to get a draft of it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So we can, yes, all of us will. Okay. We could do that one of two ways. We can have her present it to us at a meeting, just the selectmen. Oh, you know,
In draft form.
in
Yeah.
draft form. And we can then, for a subsequent meeting, invite the Ag Commission, you know, once it's been explained to us completely. I know they'll be able to see the, you know, the recording and everything, but
Whatever your preference.
okay. All right, adjournment.
Just one quick thing.
Sure.
I signed all these. The ones that I put opposite need your signature.
Oh, I missed some. Did you, there was one where a department ordered candy and I caught it and I went, we don't do that. You know, it was kind of, the person didn't know. And so they won't be doing that going forward, but it was kind of interesting to see that pop up in one of them. I think it's on top.
Okay. I didn't notice that.
I'll sign the others and.
The only other thing I know, and I know she's just back, and I know you got some other things going with the senior center, but we always used to ask for sort of quarterly reports.
I looked at something that said that she's supposed to be providing monthly reports to her in the job description.
But I think we kind of compromised and settled for, but
I think we did quarterly.
we haven't been even, I can't remember the last time we got one.
Very good. Oh, also, I forgot to mention that the Housing Authority is picking up their new van
Oh, nice.
this week. It's
Okay.
black with black interior. They said beggars couldn't be choosers. I told them that sounds pretty sexy to be going around in, but
well, good for them.
so
Now,
that has
that's
gone
money that we allotted. We're
10,000.
gonna get back.
Yep.
Board
I'm
of
kind of
Finance had
amazed.
No problem with that.
No, they didn't. They were fine, and they approved it.
Good.
What's great is it's gone so smoothly, like from
Start to
inception
finish, yeah.
to finish. So, okay, motion to adjourn. Somebody
So moved.
at
I've got
10.
11:06.
11:06. That's right. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to shut off the Zoom meeting here.
a nice quiet day.
If you wait for 2 minutes, I'll get you the greater stuff.